Hello guys, welcome to your first screencast. This will be about lesson 1. You guys will be learning today about how to estimate square roots and how to use them to solve problems. Let's go ahead and get started. Vocabulary for today, we have square roots, principal square root, and perfect square. So if we want to think about a relationship between the area of a square and the length of its sides. So let's say we have a square that is the area is 36 square units. Remember, how do we find the area of a square? So we have a square. I'm trying to make this look like a square, but it's not straight. And if the area is 36 square units, then what will be the length of each side? So we know how we find the area of a square is equal to size, we square it. So now if I know the area is 36 and I need to figure out how much is one side, how do we go back? Remember, s to the second power means s times s. So really what we're asking ourselves is, what number when we multiply it by itself would give me 36? Okay, and in that case that would be 6. So the side, each side will be 6 units. Okay, so now another way we could do this, because 36 is a perfect square, it's very easy to see that 6 times 6 is 36. Another thing we could say is that we will take the square root. So we will take the, since it was 36, so to get rid of the square, so we will take the square root of both sides, and the square root of 36 will be 6. Okay, so that's a very brief recap of what we will be doing today. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy down these vocabularies. Okay, so here we have every positive number has 2 square roots, one positive and one negative. Okay, you need to know that. Now, this symbol right here is called the radical sign. Okay, so this is called a radical symbol. So this will be the radical sign. It indicates the non-negative or the principal square root. Now, the non-negative, if we saw that 6, okay, we had 36, and the square root of 36 we said was 6 when we take the square root of 36. Now, there's also another number that when we multiply it by itself will give me 36. Okay, so 6 times 6 is equal to 36. Also, negative 6 times negative 6 is also equal to positive 36. So that is why when we are dealing with square roots, there's usually 2 answers. Okay, and this right here will be the answer. Sometimes they will put the answers as plus or minus, because it can either be positive 6 or it can either be negative 6. However, the non-negative sign, which will be the 6, this one is called the principal square root because it's the positive one. Okay, let's move on from this. Okay, so here we need to find the square root of 2, okay, so here we have, we need to find the square root of 49. Now, all you guys will be doing, okay, let me get out of the screen and bring up the calculator. Okay, bringing up the calculator so I can show you guys how you will do this. Okay, let's put in. So here we have square root of 49. So all you will do on your calculator, 49 is very easy because we know what times what give us 49. Of course, that will be 7. However, in this case, it can be both positive 7 or negative 7. So on our calculator, we'll put in 49, and then we will hit the radical sign to take the square root, and then it will tell us it's 7. But here, they're asking us to find both square roots, so we would want to put plus or minus 7. And then square root of 100, what two numbers, when we multiply them together, give us 100. So we have to take the square root of 100, which is 10. So that would be 10 times 10 will give us 100. So the square root of 100 is equal to 10. But plus or minus 10, because negative 10 times negative 10 is also positive 100. Okay, and the next one we have 225. Again, what two numbers when we multiply will give me 225. So in this case, we need to do the square root, and that will be 15. Okay, once again, plus or minus 15, because both of them will give us the positive 225. And that one is very easy to do on the calculator. Let me show you guys. And here on the calculator, you will put in 225, and then you will hit the radical symbol, which is right here, and then it will tell us it's 15. The square root of 225 is 15. Positive 15 on the calculator, but we still need to know that it can also be negative. The two negatives. Okay, back to the PowerPoint. Okay guys, go ahead and try this by yourselves and then come back and get the answer. Go ahead and pause and then come back and get the answers. Okay, well, welcome back. So here are the answers. So this one, square root of 81 will be plus or minus 9. 144 plus or minus 12. 324 plus or minus 18. Again, all you do is just hit that, put in the number first, and then hit the radical sign. Alright, let's go ahead and solve this problem. So we have here a square window has an area of 169 square inches. So here we have a window. I'm going to try to draw it as perfect as I can. Okay, so here we have a square window, and we know that the area of this window is 169 square inches. Okay, again, just a reminder, anything that has a little 2 on top, they will be talking about area. Okay, whenever you say square inches, square feet, they will be talking about the area. And this right here is raised to the second power. That means we are multiplying the number 2 times by itself. So here they want to know how wide is the window. Okay, so since it is a square, that means all sides will be equal. So this will be S, S. They all will be equal. So how do we find the area of a square? We usually will do S times S, right? Same as a rectangle. Length times width. But because the length and the width are the same, so here we can just go ahead and take the square root. So we have the area is 169, and to figure out what the side is, S, one of the sides, so all we do here is take the square root of both sides. Once again, this is still an equation. You guys will still need to show that you are doing the same operation on both sides. If I take the square root over here, I need to take the square root over there so I can cancel out the square on top. And then we do the square root of 169, which will be 13. Now, are we going to have plus or minus 13 in this case? No, because the window cannot be negative. Negative 13 square inches. Okay, so in this case, we will only deal with the principal root, which is the positive one. Alright, once again, if you guys have any questions as you go along, make sure you pause and also post your questions on Edmodo. Okay, here's another one. Go ahead and try this yourself. Pause before you look at the answer. Try it yourself, and then come back and to see the answer. Okay, so here's the answer. So because the area is 225, so we need to know what times what will give us 225. So we want to go ahead and take the square root of 225, and that will be 15. Alright, so now we're moving on to simplifying the expression. So here we have 3 times. Now whenever you see the square root's written like this with a number on the outside, this is multiplication. This is saying 3 times the square root of 36. But instead of putting this in between, we just put everything together. So please keep in mind, whenever we see it's written like this, this is multiplication. We need to multiply. Okay, but first we want to see if we are able to simplify the square root first. So the first thing we want to do in this case, this is 3 times the square root of 36 plus 7. So we still need to follow the order of operation. We need to know what is the value of square root of 36 first. So that'll be 3 times square root of 36. We all should know that is 6. 6 times 6, 36. We bring down the 6 plus 7. Now, what operation do we do first? Please remember your orders of operation. We went over that one last class. So we need to multiply before we can add. So we can put these guys, group them, put them in parentheses to show that we are doing them first. So 3 times 6 will be 18 plus 7, and the answer will be 25. Okay, very simple. We simplify the square root. This 6 right here is coming from this. Square root of 36 is 6. Then we go ahead and follow the other operation to finish solving. Okay, here's one more. So again, here we still need to follow the orders of operation. So first thing we want to do is to simplify. This whole thing right here really means this. Okay, so square root of 25 means square root of 25 over 16. First thing we want to do is to break this. This really is saying take the square root of 25, take the square root of 16, and then divide them. And then we are going to add 3/4 to it. So we want to make sure that we simplify these square roots first. So first we need to figure out what is the square root of 25. Square root of 25 is 5. And then square root of 16 is 4. Okay, so now we take it over, and then since they both have the same denominator, we can just go ahead and add them. Their fractions. So 5 plus 3 is 8. So we get 8/4, or we can reduce this even further to 2. Okay, so main thing you need to remember here is that the square roots need to be reduced if that's possible, if we can. Okay, here's one. Go ahead and do this yourselves. Then come back and get the answer. Okay, so welcome back. So here, first thing we want to make sure that we are doing is take the square root of 221. Okay, square root of 221, which will be 11. Okay, we take the square root of 121. That's 11. And then we do 2 times 11. Remember, this is multiply. This is 2 times square root of 121. So 121 is 11 times 2. 2 times 11 is 22. Plus 9, and then we get 31. Okay, go ahead and try this and then come back and get the answer. Alright, welcome back. So here's the answer. Let's do this together now. So again, we want to break this down to square root of 16 over square root of 36 plus 2/3. And square root of 16 is 4 over the square root of 36, which is 6. And then we add 2/3 to it. Now, this one here, please be very careful. They do not have the same denominator, so we need to make sure that we rewrite them so they can have the same denominator. And in this case, we can multiply this by 2. And then we will write this to 4, 6. And that'll be 8, 6. And we can go ahead and change this back to a mixed number if we want. 6 going to 8 one time. And we get 1 and 1/3. Okay, so very simple. If you are still struggling with the fractions, please let me know in class. Okay, go ahead and try this one by yourselves and then come back and get the answer. Alright, welcome back. So here we have negative 5 times the square root of 336 plus 25. Let's see if you get it right. First thing we want to do here is to go ahead and combine the do the addition first. Whatever is under the square root, whatever is under that umbrella, we want to do it first. Okay, so 336 plus 25, we add them up first. That will be 361. Okay, so instead of having one big thing, we just shrink it down to one number. And then square root of 361 is 19. And then we do 19 times negative 5, and we get negative 95. Okay, this is very simple. Go ahead and try it. So this will be square root of 12. Now, okay, here's another example. This one here, please pay very close attention and make sure you are pausing as I go along. So here we have square root of 12 times 2 times the square root of 48. So what we can do is actually commute this square root of 12 and put it together with the square root of 48. Since this is all multiplication, we know with multiplication we can move things around, we can commute. So this will be 2 times the square root of 12 times the square root of 48. Okay, so I just commute instead of having these guys by themselves, so I just put them together. I commute them and put them together. I move this one over there. Okay, so now we have 2 times. Okay, so next thing we want to do after we commute is to go ahead and do 12 times 48. Now it looks like the one we just did. So 12 times 48 is 576. Okay, so now we want to go ahead and commute 12 times 40. After we commute, we want to go ahead and solve. Now this looks like the one we did before. So 12 times 48 is 576. Okay, I just multiply this one, bring it down over here, and then we take the square root of 576. You grab your calculator, punch in 576, and then hit the radical sign. So this will be 24. So this will be 2 times 24, and then we get the answer, which will be 48. And there it is. Okay, well, that was it for today. Hopefully in class we will be doing the lesson quiz, so please make sure that you are posting your questions up on Edmodo if you have any, and so that we can help you as you go along to get you prepared for the quiz the next class. And that was it for today. Hopefully this didn't look so scary. Please come prepared with questions and your notes ready, and I'll see you guys in class. Have a good one. Bye bye.